Hi there, it's Miracle. Since it's already the second half of the year, I'm bringing you my mid-year book Freakout tag today. I saw a lot of these tags going around on Booktube lately, and I think it's a good review for the reading of the first 6 months of 2018. So without further ado, let's dive into the questions. The first question is, what's the best book you've read so far? And my answer will go to When I Hate You, or A Portrait of the Writer as a Young Wife by Mina Kanapchi. I read this book because it's shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction this year, and I'm still a little bit depressed that it didn't win. This book is talking about the writer as a fictionalized character in the novel escaped from her abusive husband and their relationships. The character was well developed, the emotion it delivers was very strong and powerful, and the language was very poetic. I did a full review of this book. I'll link it in the description box down below. You can check it out if you are interested. The second question is the best sequel you've read so far. And most of my readings are standalones. So this year I have only read one sequel, which is Winter by Alice Smith. This is the second book in her season series, and it's not a continuous story from Autumn, but it's also a standalone story, but it's the second book in the series. This book is a discussion about truth and lie. The center event in this book is a family reunion during Christmas time. In order to get along with all the family members, every character, they're all hiding something in their life. But in the meantime, they also show their true selves some way. The style of this book is very Alice Smith, if you know what I mean. And I don't know if I have read a lot of sequels, this will still be the answer, but I did enjoy it when reading it. The third question is a new release you haven't read but want to get to. I don't really pay a lot of attention to new releases, but I do have a book I want to read. It is called Only Human by Sylvain Neuvel. This is the third book in Sylvain Neuvel's science fiction series, which is a genre that I don't go to often, but I have loved the first two books in this series. The first one is called Sleeping Giants, and the second one is called Waking Gods. I listened to those two books in audio format and they are amazing. It's full casted, so every character has their cast, and the performance and also the writing and the format of the writing is in a dialogue format. So they are fascinating and I really enjoyed the experience, so I really want to get to the third book. The first question is about my most anticipated new releases in the second half of the year. As I mentioned before, I don't really pay a lot of attention to new releases, so I'm going to skip this question. The fifth question is the biggest disappointment in the first half of the year. And maybe you can guess, my biggest disappointment is also a book from this year's Women's Prize for Fiction. It's The Idiot by Elf Batman. This is a coming-of-age story, talking about our main character's freshman year in Harvard. And I have a couple of issues with this book. The biggest one would be its lacking of plot development. So I think the disappointment is coming from, I know a lot of my Booktube friends really love the book, so I have really high hope, but unfortunately it didn't fulfill my expectation. I have a very negative review of that book. I'll link it down below as well. The sixth question is my biggest surprise, and I think I have mentioned this book several times on my channel, and it is Why God is a Woman by Nien Andrews. This is the first prose poetry that I have ever read. Before reading this book, I didn't understand why poetry can be written in big paragraphs, but after reading it, I found it's beautiful, and the capability of storytelling of prose poetry is very strong. And also, it's a poetry collection with feminism topic in it, so if you know me, no surprise here that this book made me surprised. And the next question is the favorite new author. I'm going to go with Bell Hooks. I read her book Feminism is for Everybody with the Feminism Orchestra Book Club this year, and I really liked it. I think it's accessible to me, although it has some shortcomings, but I still learned a lot from it, and I decided to read all the books by Bell Hooks, and fortunately, it was not a lot. The next two questions is newest fictional crush and newest favorite character, and my answer to those two questions will be the same. That is Huang Rong from A Hero Born, which is the first book in the Legends of a Condor Hero series. Legends of a Condor Hero is the most read and most loved Chinese fantasy series, and I will link my introduction video for the Chinese fantasy, or also called martial arts fiction, down below. And Huang Rong in it as the female protagonist is she's so perfect. I have started reading this series in Chinese several times before, but I haven't finished it once. Not because I don't like it, I love it, but just typical me. But this time reading it, Huang Rong as the female protagonist really caught my eye. And she is intelligent, she is brave, she is loyal, and she is a lot more than cute and beautiful. And I think if I ever wanted a girlfriend, she will be the one that I will love. Next, we got the question of a book made you cry, and I got this picture-ish book called 平如美堂 by Rao Pingru. This is a story about two characters, Pingru and Mei Tang, and after 60 years of marriage, Mei Tang, as the wife, passed away, and Pingru missed her so much, so he started to paint all of their life stories, including how they met and what they did when they were separated in the Cultural Revolution and what happened after Mei Tang got ill. I cried every single page on this book, and I don't know why. It's nothing special, just normal daily life, but it's so powerful and it's so touching, and I couldn't stop crying when reading it. And the next question is a book that made you happy, and I have no surprise here. I have this The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night by Jane Campbell. I'm a big fan of Jane and her works, and this short story collection reads very, very Jane, and I feel like she's talking to me the whole time. Sounds weird, but it brings me a smile every time I saw this book. And when I'm reading it in a coffee shop one day, I have mentioned this on my channel, I saw a little rainbow jumping around the pages, so that I believe this book has magical power. The next question is the favorite book to film adaptation, and I'm also going to skip this one because I'm not a film person, and the only book to film adaptation I have watched is Ready Player One, but I haven't read the book, so that doesn't count in my opinion. And the 30th question is the favorite video that you have made so far. And I don't know my favorite, but I'm really happy about most of the video I put out so far this year. This year I made an effort to only make videos that I want to make and only talking about the topics that I care about. And this proved to be a correct decision because doing so, making Booktube videos become a very enjoyable process, and I liked it a lot. The second to the last question is the most beautiful book you have bought so far this year. And I don't really want to say a lot, but I have The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Emigrant Hermesgauer, and please look at the book. The last question is, what book do you need to read by the end of the year? And I have mentioned this several times on my channel before. I want to do a read-along for the Chinese classic, The Story of the Stone by Cao Xueqin, as the conclusion of my first season of the Chinese literature series videos. So I need to read this, and I want to share my experience with you guys, so I need to do a read-along about it. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and more importantly, happy reading in the second half of 2018. How time flies. And see you next time. Bye!